Blue Star early season crisis? Roll those credits. Good evening everyone, and welcome to another new video on the channel. Do please remember to like, comment and subscribe as we continue to develop Just a Sec TV. It is Wednesday the 5th of August and today we have some Northern League Division 1 action for you as we make the local trip for me to Easington Colliery to see them take on Newcastle Blue Star, who have had a stuttering start to the season. Can they turn it round tonight? Well, let's head over to Easington Colliery and find out what on earth is going on.
Flashed on in my veins, white strobes in your eyes. Sweat drips, glitter on skin. You pull me in too tight. We talk with our mouths pressed, can't hear a word.
So here we are in Easington, and coming into today's game, Easington Colliery are 5th in the fledgling Northern League Division 1 table with 7 points from their game so far. And Newcastle Blue Star, surprisingly, are in 20th place, which is effectively second from bottom because Borough Rangers, who folded in the close season, have been placed bottom on 0 points. So although it's technically a 22-team league, there are only 21 clubs actually taking part. So 1 point, obviously it goes without saying, for a club with Newcastle Blue Star's ambitions is a woeful start to the season, and they'll be wanting to address that pretty quickly, or there's going to be major pressure put on their management team. So without further ado, let's head into Welfare Park and see how it all pans out. And one thing that you will notice if you come to Easington Colliery is that there's very little parking at the ground. It's essentially a tiny car park around the top that really just holds the players' cars, and then it's on street parking if you can find any, because to get to the ground you have to walk along this Memorial Avenue. It commemorates a mining disaster that took place in 1951 at the Colliery, and you walk along here, which is not open to vehicles, and then you've got quite a steep hill to climb up as well. So if mobility is an issue for you, then Easington Colliery is perhaps not going to be an obvious ground for you to visit. About halfway along the Memorial Avenue, you've got this tribute that actually commemorates further the mining disaster. And as you can see from the plaque, there were actually 81 men that lost their lives on the 29th of May 1951. And the stone contained here actually comes from the pit at the time. When you get to this fork in the road in the Memorial Avenue, that's where you move to the right and go up this pretty steep hill. So when you arrive at the top of the hill, one of the things that you are rewarded with is some quite spectacular views of the coastline. See that? Here we are at the ground entrance. And as we haven't featured this ground in the channel on the channel before, give you a little bit of a tour. So outside the clubhouse here, you've got some open terracing and the dugouts. In here you've got the bar, which has actually got one pint Stella on draft and a little area there. You've got a commemoration of them winning the League Cup a couple of seasons ago when they beat Shildon. And as I said, on the walk up here, you've got excellent views across the coastline. So you can see when we zoom in, you can actually even see Redcar in the distance over there. And there's Ollie, the Easington manager, who we'll try and catch up with later. And there's some more terracing, and in the background there you've got the seated stand, which we'll get a better look at. And in the corner you've got this seated sort of bench stand with more covered terracing in front. And that offers the only cover in the ground from the elements, which believe me, you certainly need in the winter, not so much tonight. And there is a printed match day programme for tonight's game, Collier's Chronicle. It follows a similar format to the Easington programme the last few years. 20 pages for £2. The team lineups, etc., the match details on the front cover. A page of editorial. 26-27 player statistics, Newcastle Blue Star history, you've got all of the facts and stats on the middle page, a report on the recent game at Marsk United, Blue Star pen pictures, more on the squad, league table, today's fixtures and recent results in the Northern League, and the team lineups at the back. 6 out of 10 is what we give it. And the teams are coming out to tonight's game. Here at the Welfare Park, Easington Colliery wearing their usual green and white stripes and green shorts, and Newcastle Blue Star in a change kit of all bluey purple tonight. And as you can probably hear, there's plenty of wind noise in the background. It's a blowy night in County Durham, so apologies in advance for any issues with commentary. Redcar fans, of course, will have fond memories of this ground, because on our last visit here, we both won and collected the Northern League Division 1 trophy. And we're underway here at the Welfare Park. Suggesting that it's going to play havoc with tonight's game. And free kick there to prevent Alfie Coulthard getting away down the right wing. Blue Star on the attack down the left with Onara Copa, and they win the first corner of the game. Inside it's going to be Cameron Brewis with the Blue Star corner. Fires it in. Headed clear, and at the third attempt Easington clear their lines. Picked up by McClenn and well held by Hopkinson. Adamson. And an effort that's fired in and cleared by Phil Mills in the Blue Star goal. Cross in there from Jacob Zich, which was held by Hopkinson, and now Adamson looking to break for Easington. Instead played themselves into trouble there, and Alfie Coulthard forces a mistake which leads to another Blue Star corner. Brewis with the latest Blue Star corner, fires it in and headed clear at the far post. Stoppage there after an injury to the keeper. Nice to throw to Moore, but he's lost the ball. Take it up. Now over the top, tapping. Blue Star player. And now a really poor passage of play there, so the ball in from Brewis and then turned round rather unnecessarily for a Blue Star corner. Brewis with the latest Blue Star corner. He's got Coulthard waiting for a short one, but it goes this time near post and it's headed comfortably clear. And now Adamson looks to break for Colliery. And the ball played out on the right to Tapping. Tapping race is clear. And Bott couldn't find striker and offside. So free kick for Blue Star just inside the Easington half. Brewis again and caught by Ox. Brewis wins the ball back and now on a rock and it's put into the net by Jacob Zich. Hopkinson was unable to intercept cleanly and Jacob Zich took it round the keeper and fires Newcastle Blue Star into the lead. Here at the Welfare Park it is Easington Colliery 0, Newcastle Blue Star 1. Plays the ball forward to Richardson and wins a corner. So a corner to Blue Star. Brewis again the taker, this time he goes straight out. It's going to be Eltringham with the Easington free kick. Flies it in low and probably the wrong choice. Back over the top. Bott is going for it, but that's held by Mills. And the referee blows the half-time whistle here at a swirling Welfare Park, where we go in with a scoreline of Easington Colliery 0, Newcastle Blue Star 1. So half-time Easington Colliery 0, Newcastle Blue Star 1, and it might be the first week in August, but it's like the middle of bloody winter here over in Easington tonight. Absolutely freezing out on that far side with the wind making something of a mockery of the game. Neither side really able to get to grips with the swirling conditions, but Blue Star probably coping with them a little bit better than the home side. They have dominated the goal scoring opportunities during this half, and Easington yet to force a corner, whereas the visitors have had several. So the scoreline doesn't flatter them, but we won't really know the difference until the second half into how much playing a little bit more with the wind helps the home side. So game's still on a knife edge really. Let's see what happens in the second 45. Come on! Stop! So we're back underway here at the Welfare Park, and we've had to make a concession to the windy conditions and come over this side of the pitch, so you won't have the stands and terraces as a backdrop anymore, but mind you, you have got the coastline in the distance there, so it's not all bad. So free kick to Easington as they try and use the conditions to their advantage, and it flashes across the face of Phil Mills's goal, which could be a sign of things to come. And finally we have the first corner for Easington. It's going to be taken by Eltringham. Fires it in and heading into the back of the net by Taylor, Ryan Taylor, and Phil Mills got himself into a mess in the back of the goal, and we're all square here at the Welfare Park. It is Easington Colliery 1, Newcastle Blue Star 1. Adamson on the left for Easington, who look a different side this half, and win a free kick. So Adamson, is he going to attempt to put it on someone's head, as the corner was recently delivered? Mills in the goal will be very wary about this. Adamson, in fact, he goes low and short, and tapping, and Pern over the bar, topping. Dan Moore and his efforts charge down, topping again, and wins a free kick. So good position is for Easington, with Eltringham as usual to take her, and goes low, comes back to Adamson, now tapping, Kenny down to Stanton, and Blue Star get away with it, and now they're looking to counter, but promptly won back by Kenny, and he goes for a drive which isn't far over the top of Mills's goal, and a bit of a hopeful effort there from Blue Star, doesn't trouble Hopkinson at all. Coulthard, who probably has looked as good as any on the Blue Star side, goes for goal, and there's a snapshot that needed a smart save from Hopkinson. Dan Moore with the ball over the top, picked up by Tapping. Tapping looking for support. Into Dan Moore. Eltringham. Adamson goes for goal, and still there, and it's in there by Brad Hurd, and embracing the vision are the lucky charm, because they say that whenever they're here filming the match, Brad Hurd scores a goal, and that is exactly what he's done to put Easington ahead here at the welfare ground. It is Easington Colliery 2, Newcastle Blue Star 1. They have turned it around. Anderson. Ball out to Adamson. Adamson crosses in, and Tapping's effort is turned round for a corner to Easington. So Adamson with the Easington corner, headed back across goal, and an opportunity missed there for Kenny. Back to Adamson. Adamson fires it in, and headed goalwards and just wide by Taylor. And a corner for Easington. Eltringham with the latest Easington corner. It's high again, and caught at the far post by Bolt. Tapping goes for goal. Oh, that's a great finish! What a strike from Dan Tapping to surely wrap up the points here at the Welfare Park. It is a tremendous strike, and Score here. Easington Colliery 3, Newcastle Blue Star 1. Eltringham. And we've just moved into added time at the end of the 90 as Easington try to keep it in the corner. Tackle from Moore sets Easington up again. And it's another goal! It's Adamson. A great finish, and Phil Mills drops to the ground in dismay as Blue Stars' woeful start to the season continues here at the Welfare Park. It is now Easington Colliery 4, Newcastle Blue Star 1. And the referee blows the final whistle here at the Welfare Park as the faithful from the Green Army celebrate. And in the end it was pretty emphatic, and at a risk of using a cliche, it was the absolute game of two halves as Blue Star used the wind to their advantage in the first half, and Easington certainly did the same in the second 45. And it just shows what a big advantage the wind played in tonight's game as it finishes here at the Welfare Park. Easington Colliery 4, Newcastle Blue Star 1. So it finishes Easington Colliery 4, Newcastle Blue Star 1, and I don't think any of us saw that result coming at half time, did we? It was the absolute game of two halves. And the wind obviously was playing much more of a factor than perhaps even I thought it was at half time. I thought there certainly would be an advantage, but if you look at the pattern of play, neither of the sides managed to get even a corner when they were playing into the wind. That's how big an advantage it was at the Welfare Park for this game. And overall, you'd have to say that Easington, obviously, perhaps knowing their pitch and knowing their surroundings better, exploited it a lot more than Blue Star were able to when they had the advantage in the first half, and 1-0 was nowhere near enough to be ahead at the break. Easington played some good football at times, particularly in the second period. Ollie Hotchkiss has been doing an amazing job over at the Welfare Park, operating with a tiny budget, which he actually works wonders with. In an environment where, all of his competitors have got a lot more to spend than he has. He's managed to get them out of Division 2, win the League Cup, establish themselves just on the fringes of the playoff battle last season. And this season, who knows, they could go one better and make the playoffs, which really would be a truly amazing achievement for the size of the club and what they have to work with. So incredible job, and whether it's with Easington or with someone else, I'm pretty sure that Ollie will eventually end up at a very senior level within the game. But Easington looking good. They've got a good balance in their side, and it's going to take some very good teams to beat them this season. The same cannot be said at the moment, unfortunately, for Newcastle Blue Star, who truly have lost their mojo and don't seem to be able to find it anywhere right now. Obviously, one of the pre-season favourites for the title, certainly for the playoffs. Everything right off the pitch over there in Scotstoun. They've added a new covered end at their ground. It's up to step 4, probably even step 3 standard already, but on the pitch it's just not happening. 1 point in 4 games, leaving them at the moment more in danger of relegation than the promotion spot that they're craving. All right, yeah, it's very early in the season. We've played 4 games, but they don't want teams to be getting away from them. They've had a tough start of fixtures. You know, they have played teams that, as it turned out, have all featured at the top end of the table so far. They haven't really had a comfortable fixture yet, but they will be very concerned about the start that they've had. Obviously, with the high-profile club that Newcastle Blue Star is, comes a certain amount of pressure, and it isn't going to take many more bad results before some serious pressure starts coming onto their management team. So that story has still got quite some way to run. Anyway, that wraps things up for a very windy night at the Welfare Park, and we will be back on this channel with an absolutely massive game on Saturday, August the 8th, as Redcar Athletic start finally their Step 3 campaign as a Northern Premier League Premier Division club with a huge match against former Football League giants Bury. So make sure you don't miss that one, folks. See you again on Saturday, and until then, thanks as ever for watching Just a Sec TV.